we've got A&M Texas game day. Everybody's going to College Station this weekend. We got 8-3 A&M versus 10-1 Texas. Texas is a 6-point favorite on the road at College Station. Cheapest ticket for this game on SeatGeek, $500 right now. So use code CarterCast for $20 off. So
yeah, that'll help you
a ton. Anyhow, we got A&M Texas. Dylan, where are we going in this spot?
Who would have thought? We already touched on it. Who would have thought that this game would be for a spot in the SEC championship? One team that wasn't even in the SEC last year, and then Texas A&M. Texas is top 10 in both offensive and defensive EPA. If you don't like stats, buckle down. 15th in EPA per pass, Texas is 6th in yards per play. Defensively, 12th in EPA per play, 7th in defensive success rate. The only thing that Texas doesn't defend well against is the run. And conversely, the Texas A&M offense, they do not run the ball very well. About 45th in EPA per drive, not great on third down. As much as I want to say Texas A&M wins this, I think Texas just outmatches them, and Texas A&M is not suited to exploit the one very, very minor weakness that Texas has on defense. I'm not going to officially take anything. I would lean Texas here, and I think we get Georgia-Texas rematch in the SEC championship.
I love it. Where are we going,
Small edge.
Where are we going, Connor? Talk to me.
Yeah, so I'm kind of with Dylan here. I think the environment, Kyle Field, I think it's going to be crazy. I think Texas A&M is going to come out with that sense of urgency of this is obviously a must-win. I think they even go up early. I think they might score first. They might strike first, maybe a big turnover. I think Texas A&M's defense is too susceptible. They just gave up 44 to South Carolina 2 weeks ago and 43 to Auburn. I know it was 4 overtimes. That defense was Swiss cheese against Auburn. I don't see it. I think Texas's offense is too good. I think this is going to be a great spot for them. I think there might be halftime that's tied up. I think Texas A&M might start hot. But like Dylan said, I think Texas will eventually just outclass them. They are the better team. They are the more talented team. I think they're going to be playing in the SEC championship as well. So give me Texas. I think they probably cover too.
Yeah, I want to say Texas in a blowout right here. I want to say it so bad, but I haven't been impressed with Texas at all.
Tough environment. That has to be taken into account, seriously.
But I don't even know if the tough environment scares me as much because we've seen Quinn Ewers go into tough environments and take care of business. We saw him do it.
We've also seen him look
year.
very weird
in
certain places.
Yeah, that's extremely fair, and that's why my point is normally I want to say Texas in a massive blowout, but I can't because Quinn Ewers is not that same player he was even last year. Something is quite off about him. Watching him in person especially, he's missing a lot of easy throws. But you go back to last year a little bit and earlier this year, yes, you can say it was Michigan. But at the time, there's a lot of hype around Michigan. That's still a big game on the road at Ann Arbor. He took care of business, no problem. We know what Michigan is now, whatever. Throw that out the door, fine. Last year, he goes in to Alabama, into Tuscaloosa, and gets it done at Alabama. I don't worry about him getting affected by this environment. I'm scared about him making the easy throws. And I just don't know if he can right now. And that's why I don't want to I'm not going to take a side on this one. I hate that neither of us are going huge on either side on this, but I'm not going to lie to people. But I think Dylan mentioned it, man. This Texas defense is going to have a field day against this A&M offense. I mean, are they going to – you talked about the run stuff, Dylan. How are they going to throw the ball? Texas's secondary is maybe the best in the country, if we're being honest. I don't see how A&M has success in this game on offense. I like Texas a lot in this spot, but I'm not going to take the spread. Ben?
I agree. I think I definitely feel very confident in Texas this week. The one issue being, I don't know if you guys saw this, Carter, you're talking about Quinn Ewers being off. He has sustained an ankle injury. He had an MRI on it. And he's practicing this week. That's the one thing I don't like. If Quinn is hurt, he's been off. I kind of just want to go arch if we're not getting a full Quinn Ewers. So I think like a bad injured Quinn Ewers is the one thing that gives me some pause as someone who's backing Texas in this spot. But with that being said, I do think we look at Texas's schedule. They handled all the teams, which is most of the schedule, The only times in which it's been close, excluding Arkansas, or they've lost, is the other team has like good quarterback play. Like Diego Pavia is a good quarterback, especially in comparison to the quarterbacks they've been facing. Texas really like kind of has a field day against poor quarterback situations. I think Texas A&M has a poor quarterback situation. I don't think they really know what they're doing at that position still. With that being said, like Quinn is the one potential issue here. If he is off, if he is injured, if we end up doing a quarterback carousel kind of thing like the Georgia game, if A&M goes up 10-0 and then Arch comes in, and then, like if we get messy like that, that's the one path I see for A&M winning this game. But with that being said, Texas has really been teeing off and winning against teams that don't have good quarterback play. I think that's the case here. I like Texas by maybe like 10 points here.
Okay, but has Texas played a good quarterback?
Look, I'm talking about like in comparison to the other quarterbacks they've played. Like we're talking about, Texas crushed Colorado State, Michigan, UTSA, Louisiana Monroe, Mississippi State, Oklahoma.
Those are just
they
bad
crushed Florida.
Teams.
They crushed Florida too.
Florida
yeah,
without
with
DJ Lagway. Without DJ Lagway.
Yeah. Yeah. So like A&M is maybe a little better than that, but I would take Diego Pavia as the quarterback over
Diego Pavia
either
had
of these guys
success
potentially
against them too, and so
but that's my point though. He's pretty good. I just don't think.
But that's the point for A&M is that everything around Marcel Reed is much better at A&M than it is at Vanderbilt, and this game's in
that's
a better
fair
environment, and so that's what's going for A&M in this spot. But you look at Texas, Carson Beck and Pavia are the only average to above average quarterbacks they've played, and
they've caused them issues. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with that.
Carson Beck didn't really cause issues. He had 3 interceptions in that game.
No, some issues, Texas's own offense caused themselves issues. Yeah. But no, I feel like we've kind of, injustifiably so, kind of pushed Texas a little bit to the side. Go, hey, let's look at their resume. Like I think they do answer the bell here and show that there is a lot of talent still there. There's a really good pass defense. Their O-line, at least at the beginning of the season, looked like a juggernaut. Looked like one of the best, if not the best in the country. I think they get right a little bit here, and we can kind of go into this SEC title feeling a little better about that.
Yeah, I think I agree with that point, whereas like, yes, the Georgia game left a bad taste in everyone's mouth regarding Texas, but then it all of a sudden became every conversation. It ends with, well, who has Texas beat? Well, who has Texas played? And all this resume talk. Texas is still a damn good football team. I want to say that. Texas is the talent is there. The execution's there. Yes, they've looked a little susceptible in certain spots, but they're still one of the best 5 teams in the country without a doubt.
For sure. It wouldn't shock me if they beat Georgia into like I don't think that's shocking. I mean, we'll see what happens this weekend, but like I do think like in the resume talk is fair. Like I'm not saying it's not. Like I think it was very fair to go, hey,
it's gone a little too far though.
Wait a minute, let's look. But like, I feel like I agree with you, Connor. I think we've gone a little too far that way. And I think that's where Texas kind of bounces back here.
But they haven't looked great in these games.
That's my point. Are we only having this conversation about Texas still being a good team is because they've only had one opportunity to slip up, and they did? And it's only been one instead of Alabama, who's had 3 opportunities to slip up?
And let's not, you look at each of these games, Vanderbilt and Arkansas, they weren't looking like a top 5, top 10 team in these matchups. They were struggling. And I mean, even if you watch the Oklahoma game, Oklahoma is just such a bad football team where Texas didn't even look that great in that game.
And they crushed Alabama. No, and I get that, but that's where I come back to, but Tennessee lost to Arkansas. Like there's other teams in this conversation that are royally screwing up specifically against the teams that we're mentioning, but Texas has not.
But I'm not talking about the resume part of it. I'm talking about how they've looked in these games. I don't care about the resume right now.
No, I'm not doing that. Like I'm just saying though that Texas has been winning those games, whereas others that have been in the same conversation with them are losing those games, and I think that does matter.
Dylan, you taking Texas -6?
I'm not taking it. if I had to take something, I would go Texas. I think on top of this all, we talked about the stats. They aren't adjusted for schedule. Texas does. I know we talk about how much of a joke it is. 17th ranked strength of schedule compared to Texas A&M 39th. So these stats that I listed off, it's not just because they're playing crap teams. They've outmatched A&M everywhere, and I think they win. I'd say 27-17. I'm saying that so we can get the retweet from Nash. I think Texas is going to roll Texas A&M.
I think Texas still wins in this spot. I got to play devil's advocate at some point because it can't be a all hook 'em horns podcast. But
why not? Come on, Dylan's got to make amends for that Michigan game a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. Well, we'll get to Michigan. We'll talk.
A few weeks ago, brother. That was in August. That was my birthday.
It still lives rent free in a lot of people's heads, though. To be fair,
is that the guy that said Texas was only going to score 10 points? Awful news. I'm back this week.
Say Texas 10, A&M 3. So therefore, Texas doesn't score more than 10 points, but they cover.
But they cover. There you go.
I'm not saying that.
Give me Texas 31, A&M 20.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think Texas rolls here. I'll take Texas 27, A&M 14. I think Texas rolls. Second half. I think A&M starts hot, but second half.
Going a little under here. 48.5 is the total right here. Ben, what's your score?
Texas 30-17.